I've been to close to 20 countries, and most of the countries I've been to, they were as a result of fully funded programs.
What makes a student stand out in international applications?
For example, you have like 2 candidates, both of them had finished with a first class, and they would like to just select one person. Usually, the person they would likely select would be the person who has more. I get to be judges for different opportunities. And usually when I see an application, most times what I do, I go check the person's name on Google, check your LinkedIn, Instagram, see what you've been doing. And if I check and I can't see something tangible, I would feel like this person is not really solid.
How many global opportunities have you gotten so far? How many scholarships, I believe international scholarships, have you gotten so far?
I can't really count. I've lost count. One uncomfortable truth is that as a Nigerian, you have to do much more. And the reason why is because... Oh yeah, so my name is Roseline Adewuyi, and generally I talk to students about maximizing opportunities. I've been a beneficiary of a lot of fully funded programs, and as a result, I know that information is very key. I was opportunity enough to get to know about these pieces of information, apply for all these programs, and I believe that other people too out there, they can definitely maximize different opportunities. And I believe that when it comes to education, students out there are a lot of opportunities out there beyond the 4 walls of the university. So for me, my aim, my goal is to ensure that students get to really know about opportunities, also teach them strategies and tips as regards applying for these opportunities, because there are a lot of, I would say there's what we call opportunity literacy. Beyond knowing that there are opportunities, opportunity literacy is also getting to know the tips, strategies when it comes to applying for opportunities, what to do, how to get a lot of opportunities, because some people just keep applying and sometimes it becomes quite futile because they don't really know the right thing to do. Yeah, so for me, it's very important for you to really know the right things to do, how to go about applying. Yeah, so that's my own mission, so to say, as regards opportunity. So I say I call myself an education and opportunity advocate.
Wow. I believe this is the first time I'm hearing that sentence, education and opportunity advocate. What we are used to hearing is, gender advocate, education advocate, those kind of stuff. Now, let's actually dive deep into this particular conversation. I would love to know how many global opportunities have you gotten so far, and as well as how many scholarships, I believe international scholarships, have you gotten so far?
Oh, so talking about fully funded programs are quite multifaceted, and I would say that recognitions are also part of it, but I can't really count. I've lost count.
Wow.
Yes, over the years, I've lost count, but I would say that I've been to close to 20 countries, and most of the countries I've been to, they were as a result of fully funded programs. Yes, they sponsored my trips, and even in terms of accommodation, everything. They even get some even gave stipend at the end of the program. Yeah, daily allowance and things like that. Yes, I would say I've gotten a lot. Some were not necessarily. So when I talk about opportunities as well, some were not necessarily like they did not necessarily revolve around traveling. Some were also like international recognitions, like awards. So for those, I did not have to travel, but of course there was that recognition by international body like United Nations, like big organizations or institutions. Of course, that's also an opportunity, so to say, because some had applied for them, while some I didn't have to apply for them. People just nominated me, and that's it. So I would say that, yeah, I've lost count, I would say. Then in terms of scholarships, so my first degree, my master's, both of them were self-funded. However, for my PhD was fully funded. I didn't have to pay a dime for my PhD program. Everything was paid for, including stipend. I was given stipend, and yeah, so everything has been fully funded.
Wow, power. All right. I've followed your journey a little bit, and I stumbled upon a particular post you made on, I believe, X. You said a moving babe will become Nigerian's Minister of Foreign Affairs someday. Can you remember that post?
Of course, I do. That was quite recent.
All right. Now, for someone aspiring for that kind of position, I would love to actually, kind of work on your mind a little bit. What kind of, or what types of global opportunities exist that our Nigerian students don't actually know?
So for me, I would say that A lot of programs are out there that Nigerian students may not necessarily know. So when it comes to opportunities, one of my, shall I say, observations would be that most students, when they hear scholarships opportunities, they tend to reason this from a very one-dimensional approach, I would say. When
Mm,
they hear opportunity, when they hear scholarship, they just think about what? Masters and PhD scholarship.
mm.
And I remember I had made this post on Twitter, on X. Yes, that was sometimes last year, I think. And someone had actually come for me. Someone had dragged me. And yeah, it was really crazy. But some people, they were just like, no. At the end of the day, I was able to prove myself because the person, and the reason why the person was actually dragging me was because the person had seen opportunity from that, view of, okay, yes, just masters and PhD. And I had to educate the person. Yeah, just cause what I had said was that when it comes to opportunities, at certain age, you may not be able to really access some of these opportunities again. Because once you are
Okay.
30, once you're 35, once you're 26, you can't even apply for some opportunities again. So I was just saying that generally, and the person was like, that was a lie. I know someone, he's 40, he's now doing his PhD or something like that. And I had to correct the person. Dude, when I'm talking about scholarship opportunities, I'm not talking about masters and PhD alone. I've moved beyond masters and PhD. I talk about things like fellowships. We have fellowships. Fellowships are usually very short term. It could be 6 months, it could be 3 months, it could be 1 year. But typically they bring people together who have similar interests, who share similar interests for opportunities like that. And I've been a beneficiary of fellowships. We also have exchange programs. They want you to come to their country to get to learn about maybe their country, one institution. That's also there. We also have leadership programs. There are a lot of leadership programs around our world today, whereby they want to build young leaders. They want you to know what it takes. And it could also be like, okay, we want leaders that we know that, okay, right now in the next 1 year, 2 years, they are going into politics. I want them to really learn the rubric, what it takes, so to say, I would say, the rudiments. That's there. We also have policy consultations, whereby they invite you to also like influence policies out there. They want to hear from people, from young people, because of course, the older generations, sometimes they also know that things are changing, things are evolving, and they want to get to know the thoughts of youth out there. So they will engage them in policy consultations. They'll fly them like to come and talk about policies, talk about things affecting them, to shape policies that will affect their lives. Things are
Wow.
like that. We have youth advisory boards. You have advisory boards. Maybe there's an organization, they have like a youth arm, and they want a situation whereby they can get a lot of youth to really inform what they are doing, the decisions they are making, what they are doing in the organization that can help build or shape that institution. Because sometimes most of those people, yeah, they are usually like, older people, and they believe that yes, we need to hear the opinions of the young people out there.
Yeah.
So a lot of things like that. We also have ambassador programs. So ambassador programs, maybe they want people that will represent like a particular organization, that will be like the faces of the organization. And you have to be solid. You have to be very sound for them to really engage you. Like, okay, yes, you know what you're doing. Like, there are really many. We have youth leadership programs. We have like, what's it called? People like youth representatives for different countries, that they want people that represent their countries to come and talk about different programs or different things they are doing, or shape policies of different countries across. We also have competitions out there, writing competitions. So a lot of things. If I begin to like keep mentioning, there are really
Um,
a
um,
lot of them.
all right. For this conversation, we'll just pick a couple of them. But let's
Okay.
start with, you highlighted the first one was fellowships. And
Yeah.
for the average Nigerian student that does not know in quotes what you mean by fellowship, because coming back in Nigeria now, many of my folks, when they hear fellowship, what comes to their mind is church fellowship.
Yes.
All right. So I would love to know, I would love you to help us unpack what actually is a fellowship and how can they go about it. And after that, you mentioned about something around age range. Yes, so that I want every student that will, listen to this conversation, leave this conversation being properly informed with every tool and with understanding of what they need to do moving forward about global opportunities, scholarships, and I believe global roles as well.
Oh yeah, so simply fellowship in a very simple way, like a program that brings people together who share similar interests. The very, very simple thing. Not necessarily, of course, what you had said now, the very first time I heard the word fellowship, I was thinking it was church school fellowship until later I got to know that, oh yeah, fellowship what fellowship actually meant. So people who share similar interests. And for me, all the fellowships I've been part of, they're usually fellowships for social impact leaders, people who are impacting their communities. For some fellowships, it may be about, okay, maybe people in medicine, people in health. Of course, what's something they share similar interest. There's always that one thing that actually like connects everybody in that fellowship. So they'll bring it together to equip you with different resources. They will actually build your capacity. They will help you in terms of scaling the kind of impact that you do. So for me, that's what fellowship is in short. And in terms of applying for fellowships, like I said, fellowships we have different fellowships out there. They cater to different like areas of interest. And they're usually for young people. Of course, we have fellowships for there's some fellowships I can't apply for. Maybe they are for like older folks. People who are, maybe they will call them mid-career professionals. Maybe they're like well into like 10 years of experience or thereabouts. We have fellowships for people like that. But usually, most fellowships, most opportunities you see out there, they target young people most times. And that's why I always tell people, what really helped me was because I had started very early. So I was able to really like apply for a lot of things. Like for the past 10 years, a decade now, I've been applying for a lot of opportunities. So imagine I've been in this business, so to say, for the past 10 years. So the experience is there. Like I know what it takes. And what has helped me. But for some people, they get to, and as I said, information is very important. Some people get to discover these opportunities maybe when they're 28. And by the time you're 28, the number of opportunities you can apply for would have drastically reduced drastically. But like me, way long, and I'm still applying, I'm still eligible. But of course, the reality is that in some years' time, I'll not be able to. Because, of course, that's how life is. Age-wise, everything, I would not be able to anymore. So I always tell students, maximize it when you're really young. Do not wait till when you're distant. Even sometimes I always tell people that I even started late. Sometimes, because even as that then, when I had started early, I would travel for some programs and I would see some 13-year-old, 14-year-old, people at those programs. And I'm like, oh, what was I doing when I was 13? I didn't know anything. What was I doing when I was 15? I didn't know anything. And even now, right now, I mentor some young ladies in secondary schools. They are 13, 14, 15. And I see how they engage me. And I'm always proud of the information they know right now or they have access to. And for me, I'm always proud, I wish I was like that during that time, but nobody. In fact, I would say that I was even lucky because sometimes some of my friends, they ask me questions like, oh, how did you even get to know about all these opportunities at such a young age and you were able to get a lot of things doing? It was because of information. Someone had told me about that and that really helped my life, I moved a lot. But even at that point, some started getting to know about opportunities maybe 2 years ago. Maybe age mates 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Environment also matters. Or for me, I wouldn't even say environment. It just happened that my life journey just kind of panned out in such a way that I'd met someone that just told me about these opportunities and I started applying. And from there, it really helped me in terms of the rooms I've been able to access, the kind of information I have, the kind of recognitions I have, profile I have, and things like that. Yeah.
My goodness. I'm curious now. At what age did you start accessing global opportunities?
I'll be around, let's say 19, 20, thereabouts.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would be, what I was thinking at that age.
or even maybe perhaps even less, maybe 17. I was still really young, but not 13. I was still really young, but not 13. Yeah.
All right, now as an opportunity advocate now, we want students to actually get the tools, get the full gist, because I believe there are a lot of students like me that are, well, let's use the word ignorant of such word opportunities. They don't even know that those kind of things exist, and they are very, very young. Now, I would love to, get from you, what makes a student stand out in international applications?
Okay, yeah. So there are a lot of things that make you stand out when it comes to international applications. One thing I would always tell people, please try as much as possible to document your journey. A lot of students have realized that a lot of people do things. And again, this is one thing I would say, which I understand because of this African mindset, African mentality. People are always conscious of this village people rhetoric, so to say, whereby they will do something, they will not want to put themselves out there on social media, which I understand. Even with myself, as someone who puts myself out there on social media, there's that constant thoughts around me or people just like reaching out to me from time to time. More like, why are you putting yourself out there? Don't you fear village people? But then I feel like if I'd actually allowed the fear of village people to really like engulf me or to really be the center of what I've been doing over the years, I would not have achieved one quarter of what I have right now. Because
Very true.
they'll make you feel like you shouldn't document your stories, you shouldn't put yourself out there. And for me, when I put myself out there, I'm not doing it from the place of showing off. I'm just being very intentional and strategic. Because once I apply for anything, most times all those people, and I do that, I also I get to be judges for different opportunities. They engage me to judge some opportunities. And usually when I see an application, most times what I do, I go check the person's name on Google, check your LinkedIn, check your Instagram, check everything, see what you've been doing. And if I check what you've been doing and I can't see something tangible, of course, in a way, I would feel like, this person is not really solid. Then I get to read what you've written and I'll try to match what you've written with your digital footprint. Because
My
some people just
goodness.
make up things. So document your journey. But if some of the claims you're making, I went on your LinkedIn page, your Instagram page, and everything is connecting. So document your journey. Very, very important. Volunteering too is also very important. Volunteer from school. That's what I tell people. Volunteer. Volunteering it helps. It goes a long way. Most of the opportunities I've been able to access today, they've been as a result of my volunteering experience. So if you want to stand out, volunteer. And again, I always tell people, for example, and this is something, even when it comes to like all this master's scholarship and PhD scholarship, I've realized something. For example, you have like two candidates and both of them had finished with let's just say both of them had finished with a first class and they would like to just select one person. Usually, the person they would likely select will be the person who has more volunteering experience because they will see the person as well-rounded than the person that was just focused on academics alone.
My goodness.
So this is something people don't know. Then also as students, I always encourage them for you to stand out when it comes to all these applications. It's also very important for you to get involved in your community, leadership-wise, like student governance, student engagement, and everything. So as part of this, I won this award that was in 2024. It's called Global Student Prize. So this Global Student Prize recognizes top students over the world. I made the top 50 cuts out of 11,000 applications all over the world.
Wow.
So for this top student, a lot of things are involved. The application, we had 8 questions, 500 words each. So that's like, I think 4,000 words. My math is not good, but I think 4,000 words. So, and again, everything was holistic. The questions were very holistic. They asked questions on what you're doing in your community. And again, they were actually recognizing students, but they were not recognizing students based on, based on your academic performance alone. So I believe this Global Student Prize would be a very good example of driving home my point. Yes, this particular this thing, because of course it's all about students, Nigerian Student Podcast. Yes, this Global Student Prize. They asked 8 questions. The first question, of course, they just want to know you, what you're doing, your life journey, where you're coming from, where you are now, where you're going. Yeah, they just want to have a sense of your person. Then the second question was about about academic performance. So they are big on how well you're doing too, academically. Of course, that's why you're in school. The academic excellence is very important. Then the third question, then now came down to what you're doing in your community. So imagine if you're just that student that you're just focused on academics, but in terms of your community, you're not really doing much. Your chances of getting that opportunity is getting lower. And they do like the questions are very that you can't lie. You have to prove you have to prove that yes, you're really doing something in your community. Then from there, the next question was, what are you doing in your university? And that's where student leadership, student governance comes in. And what had helped me was that back then when I was a student, because I was a student at that time, I'm no longer a student, I graduated last year. I was a student at that time. And what had helped me then was that I'd been involved in a lot of student leadership, positions. So everything, I had documented everything. And I'd won a lot of awards too as a student. So all those awards were very, very important. I cited, in fact, I put out I wrote the link of the awards, like, okay, I won so award, this is the link. I won so award, this is the link. I was documenting everything. I was showing, when they say show workings, I did everything.
Yeah, show full workings.
Exactly. So everything was there. Oh, I won so award, the link to the award. Okay, for something as a student leader. Yes. I want this for the impact I'm making in my community. This is the award. This is the award. This is the link to the award. I was in everything. Then aside that, they're also asking about, because it's been a while now that I had the application, but everything was just holistic. Academic excellence, what you're doing in your community as a student, and also your life goal. Yeah, different things. Everything. You just know that they were very intentional. They were really recognizing well-rounded students, not just students that are big on academic excellence or something. Yes, another thing they also ask, like, what are you building as a person? As a young person. So talking about what are you building as a young person, this is it. They asked about, is there something you're actually like innovating? It could even be a podcast that you're doing. In fact, they said it's EG podcast.
Shut down. I'm in.
EG podcast, EG blog, EG. Yeah, it could be a YouTube page. So they just want to see that you are a young person thinking about things outside the box. You're thinking outside the box. You're creating something meaningful for other people. And then for me, at that point, I had a blog. So that was that was a story I shared. Like, I was blogging, sharing experiences about young girls. That was what I was doing, talking about unlearning stereotypes, gender stereotypes. Like, that was what I was creating, my blog. And I had like followers. Yeah, I talked about that. For some people, it could be like, okay, in fact, social media is also very important. So people, they had actually talked about, yes, having a large social media following because they talk about so they're impacting people. Yeah, they want to see where you're building. So being holistic, very important.
My goodness.
So, okay.
Continue.
Yeah. So that's what I would say. Again, there are a lot of ways you can stand out, but I believe with this, shall I say, particular prize, I've been able to like give you a sort of overview of how you can stand out as a person, what you can do. Then also join organizations. I always advise people to join JCI, ISEC, Erasmus. They are very good organizations. They equip you.
JCI. What's JCI? JPI. That's okay, continue.
Junior Chamber International, I think so. Yeah, JCI, ISEC. There's also ISEC. There's also Erasmus. Yeah. They want to, no, sorry, not Erasmus, no. It's Enactus. Yes, Enactus. Yeah.
Enactus.
Enactus, okay. Yeah, Enactus, not Erasmus. I was confusing. Erasmus is like a scholarship body. That's one, yeah. Exactly, but this is Enactus actually. Yeah, Enactus, yeah. They equip you. They teach you things that your other student who are just going to class, they won't know. They open your mind. They teach you skills. They equip you.
Wow.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things. Document your journey. Just try to be outstanding as a student. Then also follow people that are ahead of you. I see quite a number of students that follow me. Of course, I know they're not following because for following sake. They're following me because they see the value I can offer them. Like, okay, I can learn
Yeah.
from this person. Like, okay, when it comes to scholarships, opportunities, okay, she gives some tips, some gems as regards things like that. So follow people like that. Then follow different website opportunities. A lot of them are out there. Just keep following them. Then, of course, most people are on social media these days. I always tell people, yes, it's not, I won't say that maybe I do not go on social media for fun. I do, but I also curate my social media in such a way that once I open my social media, I'm seeing opportunities. Once I open Instagram, my explore page, I'm seeing a lot of opportunities that I know I can
How?
apply for.
How did you do
By
that?
So by intentionally following pages that post opportunities, follow them, like their post. So it will signal to Instagram that yes, this is what you're interested in. And the algorithm will work for you. And you keep seeing opportunity, even without trying a lot. Once you just open Instagram, the first two posts are opportunities. I keep seeing them. And once I see anyone that I feel like, oh yeah, I can actually apply for this, I save. And later when I'm free, I apply for them. So
My goodness.
that's it. Yeah.
I'm going to follow you on Instagram ASAP. I've been following you on LinkedIn, and I didn't even know you're on Instagram. This idea you
Oh,
gave
yeah.
me now is a game changer.
Oh yeah, I'm everywhere. Everywhere you go. I'm on TikTok too. I'm everywhere.
You are MTN. All right.
Exactly.
All right. To be honest, the thing you just said now, I graduated with first class by God's grace. I didn't actually know all these things. My mind, from what I was actually taught by some persons that were ahead of me was, bro, just get a first class. It will be easier for you to, get global opportunities, do your masters on scholarship. I was just focused on the first class. So when other these opportunities to join for leadership, I was like, no, I just can't do those things. The only leadership role I actually took was in fellowship. I mean, church fellowship.
Yeah. That's all.
Outside that, I was just that laser focused on the prize. I didn't actually know. And this is one of the reasons why we have the podcast, to actually shine the light on things like this for many Nigerian students that are not aware. So that is why we try our best to bring in industry leaders, experts to come and open our minds to the things we need to be seeing. So thank you so much for that. When you mentioned about documenting your journey, I want to thoroughly understand, do you mean whatever we do, we should post it online? Or is there a pattern on how to really document your journey?
Okay, yeah. So there are two sides to it. But before I get there, I wanted to quickly say something. When when you had shared your story about like just finish with first class, I was also like that when I was an undergrad, more like just finish with first class. And I wasn't really involved with all these leadership positions, students, whatever. But my master's, I was really very active. I started looking beyond like academics, and I started gradually. But I would say the peak of really like being that kind of multifaceted student, that was during my PhD. I was everywhere, in quotes, because I felt like during my undergrad, I'd wasted time. I didn't really do much. So that time I just told myself that this would be the, that place whereby I would really like go all out. And that was like for me. And yeah, that was like the game changer for me, I would say. Now,
Wow.
back to your, to your question in terms of documenting. Yeah, I would say it's in two ways. First and foremost, you can document by putting yourself out there, posting on social media. Because that way you can always like just go there like, okay, yes, this is what I'm doing. And again, documenting your journey sometimes. There are some opportunities I get now, not necessarily because there's an application somewhere and someone is saying, okay, people come and apply. People will recommend me for those opportunities. And why are they recommending me? Because I put myself out there. I document my journey out there, my social impact journey, what I've been doing with young girls and everything. They see everything online. And in fact, sometimes maybe some people are in a room and they're trying to say, okay, we need some like, okay, there was one time this BBC had interviewed me. And it came from the fact, okay, yeah, we need someone who is a gender advocate, blah, blah, blah. So, there's this lady, Roseline. Okay, let me check her out on Instagram. The person checked, okay, yeah, she meets the, what's it called, our requirements or whatever. let's talk to her. But imagine if I wasn't posting anything there. What would they have seen? Nothing. No evidence. Nothing.
Sure.
So documenting your journey on social media is very important. Sometimes too, I know, like I said, some people are scared of village people, so they don't want to post online. So for people like that, it's also important for you to still document in your own personal archive. Maybe they have like maybe they are actually running a project or something like that. They can have like a portfolio whereby every time they are done with the project, they have a file, a folder for everything. 2016 project, 2017, okay, this. You have everything. So that when you're applying, you are not just like going all over your laptop trying to search everywhere. You are very, very organized. It makes you very, very organized. So you're checking, okay, this, that, and you're just pushing. Like I said, like it's very, very important. It makes you very, very organized. So you can document also by, if some people who are private, but just ensure that you have everything somewhere. Document the project, take pictures, do videos, post, keep them somewhere, have everything documented. So that when any application is asking, you can easily just share the link with them. Okay, I've done this. If you don't want to post online. Yeah.
Well, I'm learning a lot from this conversation. I want us to now zoom down on mistakes. Because I know that there are also students that are aware of this. They've been trying, but they've not been getting, and they've been attributing their not getting to village people. Now, I want to ask you, Roseline, what are the common mistakes you've seen that really cause Nigerian students to actually get rejected repeatedly?
Okay, yeah. So when it comes to mistakes, one thing I would say is that people tend to write generic statements when they are applying.
Okay.
And especially even in the age of ChatGPT, whereby ChatGPT can just like this thing, it makes people's responses look very alike, very the same. Meanwhile, they want a situation whereby your application is really targeted to your own life experience, your own life story. But you see people just writing something really very generic. They want to see the you in your application.
Okay.
They want to understand that person behind the application. And if you are being generic, it doesn't really distinguish you from other people also applying.
Okay.
That's very important. Then again, I would say that, secondly, when it comes to applying for different opportunities as well, I would say, yeah, in terms of application too, try to bring you in your story. There is also the aspect of storytelling.
Okay.
We all love stories. I mean, these days when I go on Instagram, I check all these, AI stories, and I'm always glued. And when they say, watch out for next episode, the next day I'm like, okay, let me even check this Andrew. Have they posted the next story? Yeah. I'm always like, we all love stories.
Yeah.
So right from the onset, like when you're really talking about your experience, maybe when they're asking questions, storytelling perspective is very, very, very strong. We can start from a story. Instead of just being generic or something like that, start from a story. It helps a lot. Do not generic statements, avoid it. Another thing I always tell people too, ensure that your CV is very targeted. Now, let me say this. When I was a student, when I was applying for different awards, there were different awards, some mentorship awards, leadership awards, social impact awards. The CV I would submit for leadership award was always different from the CV for mentorship from social impact award. They can never be the same.
Yes.
Like all the awards I won when I was a student, they were different. For social impact awards, I was really the major, in fact, what would be at the top would be like the social impact, whatever. For leadership would be the highlight. For mentorship would be the highlight. So everything had its place. So being very strategic, what are they really this thing? Oh, this award is all about this. So that's what you highlight on your CV. Do not use just one CV. You can imagine, I had different CVs. In fact, sometimes when I say, okay, this award is about this part, I would overhaul my CV. In order to ensure that, yes, I'm speaking to the language of the award.
Yes.
and not just being generic. Another thing I would say when it comes to applying recommendation letters, I made the same mistake when I was at the beginning, when I was applying for opportunities. I would get recommendation letters from just anybody, any friend, anybody. Yes, I'll do that. But later, I became more conscious of the fact that you had to have very, very solid recommendation letters. So right now, when it comes to recommendation letters, I get recommendation letters from very top organizations.
Okay, wow. How
Like
do
if
you
you
do
have
that?
someone, so for example, I've worked with the African Union before. So I reached out to my supervisors when I was there to recommend me for some programs.
Okay, wow. Wow.
So things like that. Maybe, someone working with WHO and maybe the fellowship is all about health. And you get a recommendation letter from someone working with WHO. That's your application will definitely carry weight.
Yeah, that's true.
But some people just get recommended. Again, some people also get recommendation letters from people who do not know them. You may get recommendation letter from your professor, but the professor doesn't really know you. So at the end of the day, what are we talking about? So all these things they matter. Generic applications, generic statements, generic everything generic. Recommendation letter that doesn't speak to what you're doing. Everything just it affects a lot of people. Then writing is a skill as well. Quite a number of people do not like writing. In fact, this and I tell people, if you want to really go well as an opportunity, someone who is really like big on opportunity, you can't escape from writing.
Okay.
You have to embrace it. You have to love it.
You have to love writing.
Imagine, you have to love writing. Yeah. Imagine I was talking about, and again, this is it. When I have conversations with some friends, I tell them about one application or something like that. They just tell me, you are trying, or me, I cannot write. Which I understand. Some people, that's not really their strength, and we're different. But if you want to embrace opportunities, you have to love writing. No how, you have to. Because imagine I told you about this Global Student Prize for Students, 4,000 words.
My goodness.
And
what
if you
if
don't
you use ChatGPT?
Of course, people use ChatGPT, but of course, sometimes you still know that this is ChatGPT created and what's it called, generated, and it doesn't give that feel of the person and that, like, it doesn't feel like that person. But of course, I'm not against using ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT maybe to reframe this thing. I also use ChatGPT, but not like that should. ChatGPT doesn't know you as much as you know yourself.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, so you have to, in fact, I think I have to like talk about this one day. Writing is something you have to embrace. Oh, I don't like writing. If you are going for a lot of opportunities global opportunities, my dear, I'm talking to people out there. You have to like writing because you have to, and not just even like writing. You have to write in a very compelling way. I was talking to a friend of mine. Okay, that was I think 2 years ago or thereabouts, and we're talking, and he was saying that I should help him in terms of a particular application, whatever. And I was like, oh, dude, you're a good writer. I know you write very well. And he had said something, and I kind of relate, or it resonates with me. Oh, yeah. So typically, he had said something, and I would say, yeah, okay, fair enough. I can write. I'm a good writer. However, there's also that level of, shall I say, knowing the intricacies when it comes to applying for opportunities. And that's right. Some people are creative writers, but by the time they get into core academia, they struggle with academic writing.
Exactly.
So same thing. Some people, they may be very good, maybe like, when it comes to academic writing, but they may not necessarily know the art of writing for maybe like winning fellowships, applications, opportunities. It's different. They have different languages, different nuances involved. So that's also another thing. You have to love writing. Yeah.
For someone like me that does not love writing, I think I should start embracing it.
You have to.
I think I should start embracing it. With the advent of AI, it seems like our job is not easier. But I think you know your story full well. So just make sure you write everything. You can use ChatGPT to paraphrase or to
Oh
reframe the
yeah, sure. You
story.
can use it to listen, but although there's some applications too that they will ask you that did ChatGPT help you? So you have to make declarations as well.
Oh,
And again, another thing is that I've also observed the pattern now. I think some organizations, because they know that people easily just like they see very beautiful write-ups these days, and they know that this is the age of ChatGPT and everything. So now what they do is that they tell you to submit a video. Meanwhile, most
yes, I've
applications
applied for
back
that.
then, meanwhile, most applications back then, they don't really ask for videos. But now, almost application you see, you start seeing videos. And I think the reason why, I believe the reason why is because they want to even like see the person behind, like, okay, the way you write, the way you speak, is everything matching? So, yeah, I would say.
Yeah, I can remember an application I submitted that was, I believe, three weeks ago. That's UN Youth Advocate stuff. I can't remember fully. After submitting every
Is it
stuff,
UNDP?
yes.
Okay.
After submitting some stuff, they actually asked two things left. If we used ChatGPT as an aid to write, well, I cannot come and lie. I said I ticked yes. They now requested that we make a video, talking about what we've done, what we've achieved, and what we tend to contribute, in the course of the program. And well, I did mine, submitted. I'm still trusting God to be accepted.
Right then. Okay.
All right. Now let's wrap up this conversation with a very, very interesting, question. I believe students really need to hear. I want to know, you reflecting on your journey so far, what uncomfortable truths about global opportunities do students need to accept if they truly want to compete internationally?
Okay, so one thing I would say, really, one uncomfortable truth is that as a Nigerian, you have to do much more if you're a Nigerian. And the reason why is because now let me give a context to that. Most applications, they always have what we call geographical limitations, or in terms of yes, maybe from Africa we just want 4 people from Africa, we just want 10 people from North America, just to create that, I would say geographical balance. There's also geographical balance. There's also like gender balance. They, factor in all those things. Now, when we talk about geographical balance in this sense, now I would say this. For example, if they say, okay, they want to select the best 4 Africans, most times, Nigerians are always ahead. That's reality. And most global opportunities have been part of, no, you always say Nigerian. Nigerians are always doing very well. Like, we just have very strong profiles. We are just, So maybe they say, okay, we want to select the best 4 Africans. However, maybe they've seen that, all the 4 Africans, the top 4 Africans, they're all Nigerians. And they don't want to select all Nigerians. They want a sort of balance. So they want to select maybe people from other countries. So at the end of the day, maybe you are the 3rd Nigerian they would have selected. What will happen? They will not select the person again. They'll select another person from maybe Namibia.
Why?
Maybe 4th person from Togo for balance.
My goodness.
They'll look at the next best person from another country. And of course, you yourself, you're ahead of that person from that other country.
Yeah.
But because you want to create that balance, you will lose out or you miss out. And that is the unfortunate reality that I always tell people. That as a Nigerian, in fact, I've been part of a lot of opportunities that me myself, I like when it comes like Nigerians on the list, I make most of this list pretty much based on my track record. And yes, I know the quality of other Nigerians I see when I see those lists compared to people from other countries. In fact, some people say it like some of the scholarships they go for like masters, maybe shaving or something like that. That by the time they start comparing like themselves to people from other countries, the difference is always there.
Mm.
Nigerians just have that thing. So if you're a Nigerian, just know that you are competing with other forces that be, other powers that be in the
Mm-hmm.
in the opportunity, in the opportunity landscape. Because Nigerians are strong, and when they are doing like that geographical balance, you're also competing with other Nigerians. So your
My
competition
God.
is strong, is fierce. I always say it starts from your colleagues here in Nigeria that they have very strong profiles already. Not to talk of
Mm.
people from outside. Even locally itself, it's tough. And
My
again, the
goodness.
second thing I would say is that the unfortunate truth or reality now is that the opportunity landscape too is changing.
Okay.
When I was applying back then, it wasn't really as people do really know about opportunities like people do now. Like it was still kind of, I wouldn't say low key, but it's only as open.
Mm.
But now it's like once there's one, in fact, a lot of programs they are seeing like thousands of people applying for programs that maybe before 300, 400. Now they'll just say 1,000. We recorded the highest number of applicants this year, blah, blah, blah. Because the awareness is becoming a lot. And if the
Yeah.
awareness is becoming a lot, you get to see a lot of people in the pool. So it's becoming very competitive.
Exactly.
So the
Exactly.
this thing is very fierce.
So it means that you need to, first of all, win the race locally before you start winning the race international. Or
I tell
within
you. I
Africa.
tell you. Exactly. It's fierce. Very fierce.
My goodness. So it means that you need to start, being intentional with everything you do, documenting your journey intentionally and making sure you put yourself out there.
Absolutely.
Get more challenges, work on more projects, put yourself out there. If you are intentional about, getting international and believe global opportunities. Well,
Exactly.
this has been a very, very enlightening experience and conversation. This is the first time I'm hearing things like this. I mean, giving it to us hot. I know how much you will pay, for such mentorship section. Thank you so much for this. I'm
Yeah,
honestly
I believe I've not even scratched the surface. There are a lot of things to say.
God, I beg you. What is hey,
Yeah,
hey. Well, I believe in future to come, we will have a part 2 of this conversation. But let's put this out
hopefully.
there. Let this be like a preamble, to
Exactly.
global opportunities and all. Thank you so much for the sacrifice, in making
You're
this
welcome.
happen. We're honestly
You're
grateful.
welcome.
Now we'll be ending the conversation now, but we have 2 questions that will not be aired that we like asking our guests.